And without further ado, I just want to welcome Yara, who is going to be our facilitator for this arts grant writing workshop. Maybe many of you remember Yara was here last year. It was a wonderful opportunity so we asked her to come back again. She said yes. And so I know that you're going to more fully introduce yourself, Yara, but I just want to get to it. So without further ado, I pass it to you, Yara. Thank you so much for holding us today.
Buenas noches. Good night, everyone. Hope you are having whatever it is that you need today to be fully present in during this time. I love that you are here um, and that you made the time. La. Recently, it's harder and harder to be in any space, pretty much. So I'm super thankful. I saw some familiar faces, or bueno, names. So I'm super happy that you're all here. You have probably been in this workshop before, so this might be a review for you. And most of you know this information by heart. So this will be a fun moment to be together and share information and contribute to each other's success. So first and foremost, thank you, gracias, porque every day you bet on putting your ideas, your lovely work, your creations out there in the world. And right now, it is almost as if we are first responders again, that we are doing a service that is not being recognized as such. And it's things are getting a little bit more difficult for us to do our work. So I wholeheartedly thank you for doing it and betting that is important. Super quickly, this workshop has different iterations. You might have been in one of those iterations in the past, even here in Ujima, just so you know. Que it's you're like, oh my god, is this deja vu? Probably, but also probably you have seen it. In the chat, please. I see the chat afterwards because I want to engage with you and I want to buy your stuff if you have, or promote your work. So please share that info. Thank you, Ujima, for sharing the information around community agreements and acknowledgements in the chat. I'm looking for expansions of these practices. If you have examples or best practices around inclusion of originary peoples and new ways of lifting their works and their visibility, please share. Super quickly. Okay, so Mari shared already the community agreements that I love. This is kind of a review of them. The two that I want to highlight only right now is trying to stay present during this workshop. Try to absorb as much as you can. This information is out there. You can find it in many different places, but being present helps you to navigate more swiftly this really rocky landscape. And always and in all the moments and places and spaces in your life, choose kindness. Porque mira, la cosa también cangri. Things are getting really heated. And so being gentle, being kind is the sweet honey that binds us together. Bueno, pues, important disclaimer. I repeat this over and over. Even, I mean, not right now, maybe in the future, not really, porque I would spend them all. Pero because I'm not a trillionaire, sorry, no puedo yo personally support your work as much as I would like to. What I can do is share whatever has worked for me particularly and the people around me. And that not necessarily will secure that you will get whatever it is that you will need, pero it will certainly contribute to whatever it is that you want to do with your art practice or your art projects to make them come to life. So, we live in a system that is really effectively, oh, really effectively, like bridging the gaps between class, race, gender, and whatnot. So, solidarity measures, sharing information is always appreciated. And this is what we'll do today, share the best practices. You, after this workshop, you will have access to these slides. This information is out there too. I'm gonna just go along, but this is my bio. And this is why I'm, ¿verdad? Sharing this information, porque during a few years, I've had access to many different kinds of resources, and I've learned a few things that I want to share with you, and that I've been sharing for a while now. The one of the many different supports that I have received has been Poetry's Busy Studio. Okay, right now is the place that I lead to explore how does well-being look like if we center it in the arts and culture field. And this workshop is part of that endeavor. And now, officially, we will start with this magnificent workshop. Bueno, we are a lot of people. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my God. So first thing I want to do, we want to do is we will get together in groups of 3 people. And each person will have 3 minutes to share these 2 things. Words, specific words, like popcorn style, that you associate with money. Very specific. The concept, the thing, the trouble, the opportunity. And what do you find most challenging when trying to look for financiation for your practice or your projects? What are the things that are more? So you will have this prompt in in the different rooms. I believe that either Kamaria, Mari, or Yusuf are gonna put you in the different rooms, and I think you will get there automatically, magically. We are going to continue. This photo is from 2016. My hair is gray right now, although you can't see it. Bueno, the first thing to write a grant. Busquen un bolígrafo. Like, look for something to write. You can have un digital anything. You can have an analog anything. You can have colors. You can have markers, whatever it is that you need. And you can also have other things to soothe, ¿verdad? Any possibility of cortisols going up, levels going up. Pues no, you're gonna stop it porque you will have anything that you need around. Bueno, first thing that we are gonna start with is getting ready. And getting ready is honestamente the one thing that the one golden nugget that I could share with you that I like 20 years in of doing work is being ready is everything. Opportunities come so randomly, so randomly. If you're not ready, pues se fue, adiós, it went by. So, how can we stay ready, ¿verdad? It's kind of, ¿verdad? Es un tricky, pero if you learn it, it flows. Primera cosa, the first thing, have folders, cloud folders. At this workshop, when I started a few years back, I promoted the evil brand of cloud folders, but I don't do anymore. If you know any any provider of cloud services that you can have things stored elsewhere, please share. If they're not evil, better. Entonces, why do you have a cloud system? Porque your systems, ¿verdad? Your devices, the physical ones, they have a program obsolescence, and sometimes they're like, I don't want to work anymore. And you're like, por favor, I'm finishing this grant. And they're like, no. And all of a sudden, poof, you lose whatever it is that you have. If you store it in a cloud, it stays there. That is a little bit fragile right now, pero let's keep on talking about it so we can find better systems that have our information protected and secure. Entonces, those in the cloud, you will have a few folders, pero the ones that we're going to talk about here are two mainly. What does those folders have? What does? Bueno, you understand me, I hope. If not, por favor, déjenme saber, let me know in the chat. So folder number one. In folder number one, you would have the proposal that you're aiming for and the spreadsheet, your spreadsheet, to understand what it takes for you to be able to produce whatever it is that you say you want to produce. Y produce doesn't mean necessarily live arts, ¿verdad? Or performing arts. It can be anything, ¿verdad? Producing something. Entonces, en folder number two, that's the folder. Maybe I should switch it at some point, but anyways, folder number two is the folder that stays the same throughout the years. There you have your bio, your artist statement, any information that you need, the supporting materials. Bueno, supporting materials, you can have it in the other one, pero supporting materials that are ongoing. Like, for example, if you have, qué sé yo, EIN numbers, pues you would have them there. Entonces, fotos, documents that you have of your events or your exhibitions or your work covered by press, like a traditional press or sometimes social media. You have to ask if that is, ¿verdad? Allowed. Those things you can have stored up to date as much as you can in that folder, because in all of the opportunities that will come around, you will need one or more of the things that are there. Entonces, so ahí yo fui súper rapidito. There's a version of this workshop that is longer, that we go really deep into the different materials that you need. Pero for this one, we are going to write more and less info on the other parts. Entonces, important materials. In the folder number one, you will have this type of materials. Número uno, un documento. As a grant writer myself, when I work with other grant writers and or clients and or colleagues and or collaborators, es que son todo, they're all different. Um, we work in a shareable document. And that means that I started and another person catches up and writes comments and this and that. That's the importance of having a cloud system that allows that. Entonces, this will go through it again a little later on. So don't be like, ay, Dios mío, espérate, let me write it down. What other materials will you have in the folders? Bueno, in folder number 2, as I mentioned, ¿verdad? In a previous slide, you will have either other folders, right, inside that folder, or just that information right there, easily clickable. I don't remember who said it, but the recommendation of clicks is 1, 2, 3. If there's more than 3 clicks to find something, you should change the method porque it's too hard to find. So, photos and videos. Maybe there are some of the people in Ujima that might want to chime in this part. If you want to, you're more than welcome to, because this is very technical. And some of you people know a lot of information about this stuff. Pero, photos and videos. Very, very, very specifically, mi gente. Like, what am I seeing? That is the question. What am I saying? What am I looking at? If it's not self-evident, and sometimes it's super self-evident to you, but not necessarily to the people that don't know you. So you want to make sure that that documentation speaks volumes about your work. There is a conversation about professional documentation and the documentation that you can make in your devices and stuff. It is a class conversation, and we should be having that conversation with funders and telling them the accesses or lack of that we have to certain kinds of documentation. I vote always and I root for we add line items in our budgets to pay properly our friends, colleagues, crushes, whatever, que are photographers, videographers that can document properly your work. And that helps so much your case when you are in a panel receiving only good things, only good proposals. How do you separate ones from others? Think about it when you are applying to your next opportunity. Entonces, please don't stress about it, pero be more intentional now around archiving and documenting your work. Puede ser documentation since the very start. That's super, Dios mío. I think that I saw Daniel Callahan here. Daniel, te voy a tirar al medio. I'm going to throw you under the bus. Daniel has an amazing
Hey, I'm
workshop.
here.
Hey!
What's going on?
I know you have an amazing workshop around marketing and best practices. Just putting it out there porque I'm sure that you have a lot of insightful yumminess around this topic very specifically. I don't know if you want to share a tiny nugget now or just I'm just sharing information so you can access Danielle at some point.
I
And
appreciate
of
the shout
course,
out.
sí, hello. Bueno, entonces, video, that's for photography. Video, one of the things that I would super stress is check out the guidelines. What do they say? How long are the length of the videos that you can submit? And also, what are the panelists watching? Like from when to when? Does it have a password? Por favor. If it has a password, make sure that you write it down in the proposal. Porque si no, pues nobody's gonna call you and say, hey, can you send me the password? No, panelists don't have time for that. It's a lot of work. So, and your work is amazing. Dios mío, don't let a password be the. Entonces, press coverage of your work. If you are blessed enough to be covered by press, have that PDF. And what that means is when it goes out either en el internet, porque I'm an old lady, I say internet. So in a digital form, you can, you know, have it printed and then turn it into a PDF, or photograph it and turn it into a PDF. Have it in a format that you can submit it with supporting documents, because that it's speaking about you to a person that doesn't know you necessarily. And last but not least, resume y curriculum vitae. Y there is very, 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 very few contexts in which a grant will ask you either for a resume or for a curriculum. Pero, un curriculum vitae. But you will at some point receive this beautiful email that says, congratulations, you have been nominated for X, Y, and Z fellowship. And in that context, usually that is to support your trajectory, your current work, your future work, whatever invento the opportunity is giving you, pero that is for you. And usually you have to submit una proposal. Like you have to tell them, like, ay, Dios mío, like a Miss Universe, you have to say, I am worthy because this is the and that. And the way you show Bella, the people that you're this, and that is in part un currículo. And that actually is required. So having it ready is great porque that will come bien random, a random day. You're like normal and it arrived. So you want to be ready for it. That was what I was talking at the beginning. If you're ready, porque usually it's 2 weeks you have. And you say, 2 weeks, chacho, eso no es nada. Eso es un montón de tiempo. That's a lot of time. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's no time to find in your archives. Dios mío, pírate, ¿dónde irá? Where, was it in 2022 that I did whatever? No, hombre, no. You're not going to do that. So, documentation. If any of you have best practices around this, you can share it at any time. Pero what I have found during a few years is that having at least 5 photos ready, at least 1 or 2 headshots. Headshots are very, very specific kind of photography. It's like you are like a little bit like with a pose, y que se que fancy, whatever. Usually it's the photo you put in LinkedIn, that kind of photo. And you might say, I'm an artist. I don't need that. Pero mi amor, honestamente, when you get the fellowship, you will need that photo because that's the photo that they put in the newspaper. So, and or one or more, I'd say 4, ¿verdad? Pero of you doing your work and or finished work. If the finished work is, you're like, es que I have to put this oil painting, like, hello. Make sure that you're explaining what's going on. ¿verdad? Where are you in the career? What's going on with that particular painting? All of that. But if it's you working, but that's better. Entonces, for videos, check always la guidelines, but usually it's from 1 to 3 minutes, más o menos. Sometimes it's 5. It's rare that you find it. And one of the reasons, okay, I'm going to speculate right now, is that usually panelists have at least 30 applications each to check. 30, 25, 10. Sometimes it's 70 if you do the if you do the federal ones. So, in the context of 30, I'm going to say 70. 30 that you have 5 minutes, mi amor, ¿cuánto tiempo? Like, how much time am I going to spend just reading one proposal? So, think about that. Think about the time of, think about what if I am the number 30th that the panelist is reading? How are they going to be like, oh my God, this is the proposal that it's going to be funded? Think about it always. Y press, we already talked about it, ¿verdad? Specifically social media, I would say that because of influencers, because of it's, I think it's still not, it haven't gotten to the point where the organizations have validated the followings, this and that, pero mira, we can push para que the those ways of sharing our work are validated. Entonces, siempre, por favor, double check the guidelines. Entonces, Yusuf, how are we with time?
It's good. We have writing exercises at 7:15. Are we there? We're not there yet, right?
No,
Okay. So that starts at
casi,
7.
casi. Okay, okay. Thank you.
Well,
Bueno, so another important, super important thing about grant writing, que es como periphery of writing actually, pero it's one of the most important parts of it, is the timeline. And the timeline relates to, so all of my work currently, past, future, all of my work comes from a sense of ongoing. And what that means is that all of them are thought to go and hibernate whenever the funding is gone and wake up as soon as we get funding and the staff and the things that are needed. Porque the ideas of the projects are, digamos que timeless, ¿verdad? Pero my ideas and my projects are timeless. Pero you know what is not timeless? Funding. Funding is not timeless. Funding starts here and it ends here. And very specifically is for this. And the timeline will, the guidelines will tell you what this means, ¿verdad? Pero you understanding your project in terms of its timeline helps you understand what are the things that I need and when do I need them and when this needs to happen and when do I need this over here. And when I say this, and this could mean people, places, resources, monetary, resources, food, many different things. And it depends on your discipline, your artistic discipline. It looks very, very different from one discipline to the other. Take, for example, filmmaking and poetry, dramatically different. Probably they have things that intersect, pero bien diferentes one from the other. Entonces, these are very clear moments of any project. And so practice is whatever you do on the daily, monthly, yearly to do your work. Art project is a very specific thing, and it has a very specific moment in time. And so when you think about these steps, think about, what do I need to accomplish this one? What amount of energy do I need? Time do I need? Money do I need? Space do I need? People do I need? Entonces, and with that exercise, que I'm a little bit signaling to the next workshop on March 4th, is that you start thinking about each and every one of these steps. What are the monetary resources that you will be needing? I'm sure that at least, I don't know, 5% of those materials, you already have them. Probably. ¿Qué sé yo, la computer? You already have it, probably. That does not mean that you don't put it in los budgets, because today you have it, tomorrow when you go on tour, you don't know if you will have the same things or you will have to do new ones. So know what it is that you need, so that when you say yes to the tour, you know the resources that are required for you to not burn yourself. Entonces, ahora sí, ahora vamos a the writing part. Please, ay, Dios mío, mira, se emocionó. It's alive. So get your anything that you have, pens, pencils, markers, plasticina, like anything that can help you to absorb the most yumminess of this part, and then apply it in the future for anything that you're working on. Bueno, this is an actual question that some of the opportunities that you apply to ask. And at the beginning, when I was first asked this question, I was like, bien, como que, what are you asking? Como que it was an emotional response. Pero with time, I recognized that the push that it gave me allowed me to imagine, in a way that I come from Puerto Rico, as you have heard, ¿verdad? Porque the way that I talk. And in my country, ambition is not a good word. It's not positive. It's like usually very frowned upon. And what this question asks, how does success look like? Signals como que un opening of perspective for the ambition word, ¿verdad? Y concept. Because as soon as you think of how people are going to engage, like how is it going to look, like where is it going to, the water going to fall from, this and that. Once you start that, everything starts moving towards it. Entonces, one really effective thing is, as soon as you have that dream that came to life in your head, like a, ¿verdad? Como un book that has the castle and it opens up, is tracing back what needs to happen for those things to come to life, ¿verdad? An effective thing to deal with the ambition part and como que the uneasiness that comes with it is thinking about possibilities, ¿verdad? At least three possibilities. The first possibility is having a peacock budget. Okay, that's a joke that I have with Molly Rideout from Assets for Artists. And peacock budget is the kind of budget that you make considering every single person working for the project to be paid better than they have been paid ever, including yourself. That everything that you aimed for is taken care of, and that after that, you have enough for taking care of yourself first and foremost, and the crew. And also, you can think of making another one because you have enough for, a part two. The second, right? That's the peacock. You're like, oh my God, mira, look. The second one is like, okay, okay, I'll do it. ¿Entiende? And that one, you still pay yourself well, you still pay your people, pero there are some things que, ¿verdad? You negotiate, you use stuff from your mom's house or whatever. And then the third one, ¿verdad? Que es the necessary sacrifice. And that one you also get paid. Pero probably it's half and half. Half of it you are giving it in kind, and half of it you're paying yourself. You're paying people, and some of them they give you things in kind. The places you try to negotiate is better. In no budget, in zero budget from this workshop forward, por favor, porque you're gonna have me with la chancleta in the hand, saying like, que, you'll stop doing projects for self-finance only. Porque in no context you do it for free. You just do it with your money, ¿verdad? Y pues eso es lo que hay. No, ya no, we're not for that anymore. Okay, so this is for thinking. Where is the things that I need? Where are they? So, okay, agarren su de esto, o sea, have your pencils, pens, your tablets, keyboards, whatever it is, because we are going to be spending a little bit of time. When I give this workshop, I usually go really, really fast in these slides. Pero we're going to spend a little bit of time because this opens up the narrative in a way that you can take things from it and form different kind spaces for your work. Remember that we separated the idea part, this, and that. We can break it into bite-sized pieces so that different stakeholders, different donors, different supporters can support different parts of your work. Entonces, pero how can we do that? Porque usually our ideas are so compact and so, so let's think about a little bit. For this one, we can use colors if you have them around, so that you can color code if you want. I have different kinds of colors here. You can, perdón. You can create a visual, map, whatever it is that you want to create. You can do a list. Pero we're going to spend at least 2 minutes, ¿verdad? Porque I'm not going to be like, 1 minute. No. 2 minutes answering this considering, ¿verdad? Writing down these things. Where is this idea coming from? You're here in this workshop because probably you have one or more ideas that you want to bring to life. Not necessarily you're here because you have an art practice, an ongoing art practice, pero this works for any context, but it works better for specific opportunities. Entonces, understanding where the idea comes from. If it's you have spent X amount of time investigating, researching, or you have had an experience, a lived experience, um, or you are like me, a person that wonders a lot. Like, I wonder if, and then I go through spirals, and then whoop, an idea comes. Um, is this something that you experience yourself? Is this something that you have seen people experience? Is this something that you think it's a social, from the social realm? Is this a very particular niche thing? Let's spend these 2 minutes writing down where is this coming from? Um, and voy a poner el reloj. Okay, so to the best of your ability, ¿verdad? Free write whatever comes to mind. Por favor, one thing that I do want you to be really, really mindful of is try to write down names, the names that you know, write down titles if you have them, authors if there are around, places, be specific is what I want to say. Okay, I'm gonna put the 2 minutes and I'm gonna mute and then we'll return. Okay, estamos ready. 3, 2, 1 y go. Hey, can you hear that? I don't know if you can hear it, pero that means that the 2 minutes are. Why did I mute myself? No entiendo. Okay, so let's go to the next one. I just want to point out que don't get stressed out by this, por favor. You will have the recording will be up, I think, in the Boston Ujima Project YouTube. And also, you will have access to the slides. So you can go to them as much as you like. And fun fact, literalmente I use this slides whenever I'm stuck and in an idea, I go back and review them. So they work for me too. Bueno, another 2 minutes on this slide. To this one, please try to stick to writing down a list, however long this list ¿verdad? Turns out to be. Pero one thing and if it's not long, you can profundizar. I don't know how to translate that. Make it profound. O sea, como que speak about it more. Deepen. Ah, me acordé. Deepen on why that discipline. In my case, very particularly, I'm known as a poet and also as a writer. My work is very fluent in many different genres. So it's very difficult to pin down in one, mostly known as poet. I also love doing performance art. Ya not anymore, pero I love trying to push myself there. And all the projects that I've done in my life, all of them have had a multidisciplinary nature because I personally believe and I'm deeply aligned with the understanding that no genre is better than the other and all of them influence each other. So I love them to be together in spaces, and so I create spaces for that. So, pero, that is really beautiful. Yeah, qué lindo. Ah, she's so nice and cute. Pero los funders are like, that's great and everything, pero I don't understand that. I don't get it. Like, no, what is multidisciplinary? No, like, explain further or decide on one. Which one is the principal? And so sometimes it's a challenge, bien challenging. And sometimes, and most of the times, it's a good challenge, ¿verdad? Because it allows me to really, really think about the nature of the project, like what is being contributed, what am I asking of my colleagues and my contractors, and so on and so forth. Entonces, pero I say this because there are opportunities. In Massachusetts, por ejemplo, if you're in this area, because you're probably in this area, pero probably not. In Massachusetts, you have, por ejemplo, el Massachusetts Cultural Council has a very specific fellowship. And that fellowship, it works a little bit like a grant, pero that fellowship has 1 year is photography, poetry, esto, lo otro. And then the year after is film, music, esto, lo otro. So you really have to be paying attention to that very specifically. So that's one thing in this area, ¿verdad? Pero también está Creative Capital. Que Creative Capital is this humongous, ginormous, gigantic grant that everyone wants. Case $50,000 for 5 years, people. Don't like, tampoco like 50,000 for 5 years. Pero there's also like fringe benefits, ¿verdad? Como que additional stuff can makes up for another 50. So it's a good. That one also has 1 year these disciplines, the next year these other disciplines. If you have multidisciplinary projects, you might be able to get funded, ¿verdad? For different things. You have to ask. You have to meet. Actually, the way I know Camaria Wims is because I met them when they were part of an institution that was funding a project that I had. And they were amazing every time that I met them. I had questions, they had answers, super, really amazing vibes. So, pero back to this story. Which are the disciplines that you are putting forward? Is it one or more? Um, are you thinking about how much time and how much energy and which spaces are you needing to make this project? What kinds of materials are you in need of to do this thing that you want to make? Remember, practice, project, different things. The same language porque es your art, pero different things. Entonces, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes again to answer these questions. Y aquí sí, be more specific. Por ejemplo, I want to, ay Dios mío, this is going to be recorded. I hope that I'm there next year. I want to perform in We Create in 2027. That's Mar Parrilla and Danza Orgánica has this really amazing woman and femme presenting folks event, the performance, and I want to participate. I would put We Create there. Bang. So what is your We Create? How does that look like for you? Where you want to be? Which things do you want to put out there? Vamos, 2 minutos más. 2 more minutes. Ok, 3, 2, 1, go. ¿Lo escuchan? Can you hear that? I don't know if you can hear that. Pero bueno, that means that this exercise is over and we are going to the next slide. And this slide, we are going to do the exact same thing. We are going to be being very, very specific. Now, when I say specific, ¿verdad? Por ejemplo, one of the things that this happens so much in proposals, so much. People say, I want to go to the community, or I want to do the work remote. And so, which community? Which? The Puerto Rican community, the mother community, the queer community, the mother queer poet community, porque that's my community. Like, which community are you talking about? Entonces, the other thing, remote, dale, okay. Is it Zoom? Is it in? No voy a decir esa porque no. I'm not going to mention the evil ones. Pero Twitch, I don't know if that one is evil, pero Twitch is like un TV, almost. Random TV. So, the implications of me attending a Zoom meeting versus un Twitch something are dramatically different. You have to teach me how to do the Twitch thing. The Zoom, I just like write it down y ya. So there are different, and also which of those are free? Which of those you would have to buy? Would you have to buy it for a whole year? Is it monthly? Like, there are so many implications on the decisions you make on your project. And all of those decisions are literalmente money decisions. That, of course, they are aligned with your values. Of course, the decisions are guided by first the spirits, then your education, then your will, o sea, your willpower. All of those things are in the mix. Pero one of the things that all of us need to understand, including the panelists, the funders, the organizations, your peers and colleagues, is what is this? What is the thing? And then how much will it take to bring it to life, ¿verdad? In terms of everything that we have been speaking in during this whole time. Entonces, ahora we will get into the success. Imagine success. Entonces, I'm going to give you again 2 minutes porque, ¿verdad? I'm a generous person and I want to be equitable, ¿verdad? Equitativa. Entonces, answer as much information as you have at this moment. As much information as you have. If you have the names of the places, the times, the materials, how long, if it's something that will live during a period of time, how long will that be? Everything. It's important that if it's, okay, so I've had the experience of going to friend's house. Que es que it's like, Dios mío, pero ¿por qué? Friend's house, when I go to their backyards, the last art piece that they did for some random grant opportunity is there in their backyard. Why? Because the opportunity ya finished, and I'm like, pero what are you gonna do with that, Bella, in the future? Think about where is it gonna live afterwards. Think of what is the environmental imprint of, ¿cuál es your contribution as an artist to the monster storm? That is too hard, pero honestamente, are we even talking about that part? Porque that has money implications. Vegan stuff Usually it's more expensive than regular materials. So let's think about maintenance of the work. What happens afterwards? Let's think about where are the spaces that I need to create it in, and where are the places that it will live after that. The success, ¿verdad? The final thing, how is it successful for you, ¿verdad? Describe that. Like, use those 2 minutes, like, ¿cómo se dice? Exprímanlo. I don't know how to translate that, so sorry. I'll look for the word. Bueno, 3, 2, 1 y go. Mi amores, sonó la alarma. So everyone come. Ay, I didn't get muted myself. No entiendo por qué. Okay. So we are now we are now going to open one. I want one person, ¿verdad? Before we go to this, because this one is going further in the information. Pero I want one of you to share how did this writing exercise resisted or handheld or ¿cómo se dice? Fluyó. I don't know how to say that in English. Like, it fluid? Was it hand holding, or was it resisting the questions? Oh my
You're getting some answers in the chat.
God, not
Daniel
okay.
Callahan said fluid. Aisha Perez Gonzalez said it was a better approach. And also, it went almost smoothly. And I think, can I just rephrase the question for you, Yara?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I think Yara's asking what our experience was moving through those questions. Did you flow through them? Uh, did you feel resistance inside to them? Did you feel held in them? And was that it, Yara? Okay, cool, cool. Um, Lots in the chat, folks kicking in the chat. Um, Thought they were thoughtful and intuitive. And someone said, Vincent said they were reaffirming.
That's amazing. Question that I have. Do you feel like you can move from lists, mind maps, paragraphs into a fluid space where everything can be at? Or do you feel like it's too choppy, it's too in the idea realm only, or not only, still? Voy a ver el chat un momentito. Yes. I see that it took a minute to think about it. And the reason that I always bring these questions, okay, we are going to go even deeper now into, is because the more information that you can give in your proposal, the easier to imagine it is for the people who read them. And so the experience as a person who has participated in grant panels is that you get super excited. You get super excited. And then you go to I invite you, strongly suggest that you participate yourself in one or many um, panels, selection panels. Porque, mi amor, that last moment when you have to choose the 10 out of 70 people, the last 10, ¿me entiende? Que eso es like you go to your, like, you're the ones that you select are the ones. It's really interesting to see how people portray themselves and also their work to be understood and to go through that specifically. So let me see what else is in the chat. Yes. Sorry that I'm reading. Okay, I can't read.
I can read them for you, Yara.
Gracias. Gracias,
Okay.
Camarga.
Yeah, these two are really interesting. So Ryasia, I'm so sorry
Yes.
if I misspoke your name, but shared that we kept getting stuck on who we are and what we've done versus who we'd like to be in version 2.0 and beyond.
Yes. Y I want to say, love that tension. O sea, love it. Love the tension between that you were and that you want to be. Sometimes there are people that want to support that tension very specifically. Find them. Find them. Also, ay, no, pero si, pues no, pues vamos a hacer ejercicio. Let's do some exercises so that it doesn't kill you, por favor. Danielle, you said something about I think still needs a lot of flushing out and feels like the project is gonna be mad expensive. Okay, so I do wanna, ¿verdad? Have a little. It is. It is gonna be that expensive, Danielle. Está bien. It's okay. Pues entonces that means that there are several different stakeholders and different supporters at different moments of the project that need to chime in. And probably if that is your experience, because sometimes your project is not that, ¿verdad? Pero if it is, please consider staff, please consider people that are with you all along. I'm going to speak for myself. I have the tendency to be extremely controlling of different things. And then I do it everything myself. And that is no. Es como que, okay, you want to do this, have it written down, dáselo a alguien, give it to someone and let that someone shine with their own contribution. Pero that one takes time to achieve. Así que treat yourself with love and also patience. And be honest all the time with the people around you and tell them where you are in the process. Bueno, let's return. Okay, so now we're at the very end, pero we are going to go a little bit more profound, ¿verdad? Ay, déjame ponerlo en present. So now we are going to spend a few more minutes. In this one, we are going to be spending 3 instead of 2, because now you're going to go through each, or bueno, no each, porque ¿verdad? 3 minutes, no da, pero no, ¿verdad? You are a genius, we know, pero también 3 minutes no da. In 3 minutes, try to go and answer as much of these questions that you already know and are most certain or are really rooting and aiming for. And these are the what. Esos son los journalists in the room. You're going to be like, I know that. The what, the who, the where, the when, the why. And I added there success. What is success to you? Now, in the what, be very specific. Where is this your thing? Is this a collective thing? Is it gonna be outdoors or indoors? Like what's the deal? Where, and if it's outdoors, where? Porque, oye, if you tell me, if I read your proposal and you're like, this is gonna be a community gathering, que qué sé yo qué, que in the Boston Common, ¿verdad? And you say that it's in February, I'm gonna be like, pero mira, you're gonna have like special, like, I don't know, heating stuff, porque en el Boston Common en febrero, it's gonna be really cold. So if your project has nothing to do with climate or cold or heating something, pues mira, febrero and outside, como que are going to be a question for the panelists. If they know the Boston Common, and probably they do. Entonces, so write down everything from this one. See, I want to end the Ujima folks. If you want to chime in also in this part, you're more than welcome. Who benefits? And this one is a very important one. Who benefits from the work when it's out there? Who benefits from the money that it's given for the project? Who benefits from the prestige after you receive el logo de whoever is funding your work? Who is going to create it? Is it going to be you? Are you going to have a studio, like a few people doing the work? And who will implement it? Sometimes it's not you. It's other people that carry it out. And you're just literalmente like a soluid fancy. You're just writing down the instructions and some other people will do it. Where Again, we spoke about it. Is it Twitch? Is it here? Is it there? Probably you still have some more write it down to do. The when, is it a specific date? Is that date important to the whole project? Can it shift? Mira, I was going to Puerto Rico ahora en febrero, now in February. There is a festival. Actually, if you're going to Puerto Rico, make sure you go April 25th. It's a Saturday. There's going to be this ridiculously amazing festival of a Black Puerto Rican poet, Angela Maria Davila. But they were going to do it in February 21st because that's her birth date. Whatever happened, and that was very, very important for the project. Whatever happened, it's gonna be in April. But now, if there were no funders. Pero if there were funders, probably they were gonna be like, mira, pero like, ¿qué pasó? Porque this is a very important date for this project. So, is that your case? Is your project important? Porque that's a pressure point. You're like, mira, es importante. It's important that I have that money now. It doesn't work that way, pero. Entonces, is it gonna be a special month with a special kind of something that you might, ¿verdad? That benefits your project. Entonces, the next two, the why and the success part. Under asking this, understanding this, you for yourself, not necessarily for others. Pero the why. Why are you doing this project right now? Why? Why you? Eso that's a language, pero no. Why? ¿Verdad? You. ¿Por qué tú? Porque once you go through the process of reading grant proposals, you understand that this world is filled with extraordinary, brilliant, magnificent people. And so you're like, diablo. So my contribution is this one. This is. Understand that. Porque maybe in the opportunity that you're feeling out at this moment, that is just part of the narrative. Pero what happens when you're in the supermarket, literal? You're in the supermarket, some random person recognize you and talk to you randomly, and you're like, no, porque... And then they literally ask you, and you tell them. If you understand that, you will speak with an ease that if there's alignment, it will show up. And if there's supporting opportunities, it will show up. So the whys can be a list, but it can also stretch into narrative form. And then the success. Esa es la más importante. That's me. Boston Ujima Project could have another worldview. Pero to me, when you define success to me at one point, now it's a little bit like I need to reflect on it. But at one point was, I did in 2013, 14, 15, I don't remember, a poetry reading in a bar with 20 people that some of them didn't read poetry, they did read whatever. And for 2 hours, the bar was silent, listening to the people on stage. Mi amor, I don't know, pero that's my meaning of success. Yo, after that, I was like, ¿qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? Like, no, I don't want to hear it. So, after that, that was in 2013, 14, 15, I don't know. After that, everything was gain. Everything that came after that, porque I understood success in a way that no other definition could ever fit it. So what's your definition? I don't know. Find yours. And then compare your definition with the definition that the people that are giving you the opportunities have. Do they look alike? Are they in the same, ¿verdad? Are they separated from each other? And run with yours siempre and negotiate with the other ones, ¿verdad? Porque tampoco puede, you cannot be apart too far away. Y the three scenarios that we talked about a few slides back. What are those three budgeting scenarios que are associated with success? Es como que, ¿cómo es? This super, Daniel, the big, super humongous, like go wild. Also, mano, we are taught to be to put ourselves, that to dim ourselves. No, no, go wild. And then you trim it, ¿verdad? Porque sometimes it's just like, hey, adiós, espérate, what is this? Pero then you like, espérate, déjame, let me do this and that. So, pero go wild. And have space for moving, for malleability. Right now, all of us have to have that little tiny, ¿verdad? De que, if we have to, pues mira, okay, dale. So, 3 minutes. Yusuf, how are we with time?
Doing well. So 3 more minutes and we start the breakout rooms for the caretaking project needs.
Ay, santo Dios. Okay, bueno, pues espérate. So, okay, so I'm gonna use this one better. So I'm gonna give you the 3 minutes, ¿verdad? And if you see there are some information at the top of the squares, that can help you to start the sentence or the list or whatever it is that you want to write, the format you want to write it in. Okay, so 3 minutitos. Now, Okay, beautiful people, let's stop for a moment. Ay, Dios mío, like what's up? Like the three times that I've unmuted myself, I've muted myself back. No sé, I don't know what's going on. So now I hope that you are like super ready to. Ay, ¿qué pasó aquí? To get into a breakout room again. Entonces, this time, okay, so you will get into a breakout room with two other people, ¿verdad? Three people in one room. And please be mindful of timekeeping so that everyone has a chance to participate. And what will you share? Bueno, pues your current project needs. If my project needs XYZ, this, and that. And of course, there are things that, these are things that are the ones that resisted more, that are more difficult, that you are like, ay, Dios mío, where can I? Where do you think? And then trust the people you're with, that they have answers. So in that sense, because there's ya little time that we are gonna be in this workshop, no little time, pero a few more minutes. Just insisting, ¿verdad? De que sharing is caring, como dicen aquí, that's something that you say here. No, en Puerto Rico that doesn't, pero and that this work, sharing your idea, listening to what people have to say. And by people, I mean people you admire. Porque everyone, we know that we have FB, we know everyone has an opinion, but you are going to look for the opinions that contribute to your work. Critique is great also. Oye, don't get me wrong. If you go to your kids, if you go to your partner, if you go to your parents, if you go to your grandparents, if you go to your community members, your friends, and all of a sudden you give them, ¿verdad? What you have written down, and they read it, and they come with like questions and this and that and pushbacks, and you're like, you don't understand me. Mi amor, guess what? Who is not going to understand you either? The panelists. Porque guess what? Maybe it's your mom, literalmente, that is in the panel. Porque sometimes foundations are very, very intentional on who they put in the panels so that they can be fair or try to be. So maybe it's your mom, literalmente. So if she didn't understand it en tu casa, in your home, she's not going to understand it in a panel. And she won't be able to root for you because she's the first person that doesn't understand. So if that happens, sit with it, give thanks, and see how you can do you by also communicating with others. Porque that is fundamental for getting support. ¿Verdad? The understanding part. That's why I go very detailed into thinking about stuff. And malleability is key. The reason there are so many detailed questions is that usually one proposal will will run years, years with mild adjustments here and there, depending on what the opportunity is asking. ¿Entiendes? So, also, if you're like me, super controlling, be sitting and holding also change is a good thing. Especially after the quarantine, and very especially, o sea, highlight right now, que we are like, okay, get every day. So your projects also, ¿verdad? If you did projects in back in the quarantine period, you probably treat yourself well, porque maybe this time is also PTSD time. Okay, you're like, again. So, bueno, if you have more questions, ¿verdad? I'm here. Um, you will receive this, pero in the chat, there's also access to a feedback form that Poetry's Busy Studio, where I work, have. Gracias, Camaria. And para mí, to me, y to us, Poetry's Busy Studio is super important. Your literalmente opinion and your critique and your incisive, ¿verdad? Things you have to say about this workshop. And here is my information. Mira, .co. No es Colombia. Es com. Sorry. It's supposed to have an M at the end. Whatever. It's late. In the editing, it just, I don't know. So, pero me pueden escribir. Like, you can write to me at any time, and we can have a conversation, whatever. We can also meet in March 4th at the workshop. And I don't remember where it is, but it's in person. The center, Camaria, if you
The
know.
Center for Teen Empowerment on Balfour Street. It'll be 21 Balfour.
Thank you so much. Pero there is a registration que you have to check with Camaria, Mari, or Sierra, or Yusuf. Pero thank you so much for everything you do. Y que I hope that I wear at some point the things and go to your exhibitions and stuff after you get those amazingly delicious opportunities. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you in March.